welcome back to SportsKhabri, guys. It's almost Champions Trophy season with the 50-over format almost upon us. I think it's only fair that we discuss some of guys we're going to sort of look forward. We'll be looking forward to watching in the Champions Trophy. One of them is Virat Kohli. He's widely considered probably the best ODI batter ever. But is it true, bro? I want to know from you guys, what do you guys think of it? I will have my say in the end. But do you think Virat Kohli to you is the best ever batter in ODI cricket? Of course, we can't speak for the guys who played before us, before pre 2000s and all of that. So we'll stick to post 2000s era where we've gotten to see most of these players, most of the top players. Is he the best ODI batter?
I don't know. It's a difficult topic in the sense, bro. Like he changed or he revolutionized batting, especially chasing. When it comes to chasing, I don't think there has ever been someone who's hunted down totals like better than him. Like when he
Mm,
was at the crease, it felt like okay, any target is achievable at a point. Like, of course, now that's not the same anymore. But there was a phase where there was a it's not even a phase. It was a good 5 to 6 or even 7 years where he felt like he could chase down. Like you put 400 on board, as long as there was somebody else holding the wicket at the other end, as long as we didn't get all out from the other end, he could chase it down. So I think that is the biggest credit we have to give it to him. That like as long as he was in the team, we were never totally out of a game. Like for me, I think that would be his biggest contribution to our team. And outright, is he the best ODI batter? I don't know. In our times, at least post 2010s, we can say yes, sure, he is. But if you're including the previous, the Sachin Tendulkars, the Kumar Sangakaras, it's a difficult conversation. He surely is in the mix. Probably you can give valid points and you can certainly make a case for him, but I don't think he's definitely sure shot the best.
just some numbers quickly on Virat Kohli. He's the third highest average in ODI cricket, 58.18. Only Shubman Gill and Ryan Tendulkar have a better batting average in ODI cricket than Virat Kohli. So he's up there all as far as the stats are concerned. We know Tendulkar, of course, would have played most of his cricket against associate nations, and that conversation goes out of the door. Shubman Gill he still has a long career ahead of him, so for him to be the best is a different conversation again altogether. But the man just below Virat Kohli, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who are vouching for him. That's Babar Azam, 56.73 is his ODI average. He's obviously nowhere near Virat Kohli in terms of the runs he scored, because it's I don't think it's ever going to be that close. But yeah, he's up there. You've got a couple of other interesting names in the top 10 averages. You've got AB de Villiers in there, who, of course, we know what he did when he played any form of cricket. He's just a gun cricketer, right? And apart from AB de Villiers, I think a very interesting one in this list is MS Dhoni. Averages over 50. Of course, played most of his cricket lower down the order. And it's an interesting conversation. Now, a couple of other names, Ashim Amla's right there, Jonathan Trott. Jonathan Trott also averages above 50. So we've got a few names there. Adi, do you think he's outright the best?
Yeah, bro. I mean, when you have 50 centuries and, the next guy is on 49 with almost double the matches, I think that itself shows, your credibility. I don't think there is much of a debate in this sense because technically, for me, at least, Virat's, at least if not the best, at least top two batsman I've ever seen in my life. Maybe the only other guy I can compare him is to AB de Villiers. But again, as a pure batsman, I still think Virat's a better player than ABD in terms of just pure technique, maybe. Only thing for me for ABD was always I think he could play in any conditions, no matter what, he could adapt. I think that's the only thing with Virat over time. Maybe it's become less. Like right now, I don't think that mentality is there in terms of adapting to different conditions. Sorry, but yeah, I think he's still the best, bro. I can't believe him scoring 50 half centuries with what around 250 matches maximum he's played, 295. And again, you look at Sachin Tendulkar, he's played 463 games, so that's like 170 matches more. And you've scored 50 centuries, 72 50s, averaging 58 runs with a strike rate of around 100 almost. So like I don't think anything is even comparable. You see the next highest after Virat is Rohit Sharma with 31 centuries, And Rohit Sharma is an opener also, so he has better conditions to play with power play, etc. Even Sachin, most of his cricket he played was opening, at least in ODI cricket. So these guys always had better conditions and easier conditions to play cricket at. And for me, at least, I can't think anyone else who's played ODI cricket the way he has. Like, I think
Mm.
the way he used to pace his innings right from, the beginning of his career, I think he could go both, like take his time or like the start smashing when it needed. And the way he plays the white ball, at a point of time, he was the only one who could play, again, as I said, conditions. He could play spinners easily, he could phase the pace easily. Even when, the medium paces used to come, he used to play it so with such ease. And I've never seen any batsman adapt to conditions easily and score so much runs throughout his career. Tell me another batsman who's done it, then maybe we can have a conversation. But none of these guys have done it throughout their career. Talk about guys like Hashim Amla, even Steve Smith, they're not able to do it in the white ball at all. Even Joe Root to an extent. They're not able to master the white ball. You have other great batsmen like Butler, Kane Williamson to an extent, and they've really not been consistent over the years in ODI cricket to be like, yeah, these guys are much better or been better than Virat Kohli during his time. Like nobody has ever been the best. Like winning so many awards, being the best cricketer for like what 4, 5, 6 years continuously, especially because of ODI cricket at a point of time where ODI used to be the main, stay of cricket. I've never seen anyone play ODI like the way he did.
Yeah, I think you can't argue against the hundreds that he scored. 50 hundreds is just ridiculous, I think, for any batter in ODI cricket. But again, I'm just trying to make the conversation more interesting. But some may argue that while Virat has been, I think, in this format, clearly, like, bro, his numbers are incredible. Like, it's so hard to say anything against it. How much has he contributed to India's big tournament success, right? If you go back to 2011, wasn't amongst the top run getters in that tournament.
He was one India's top four scorers, and he
What
he
top?
averaged what around
Adi is in the
he
top four.
averaged around
He batted in the
45
top
as
four.
a
He has to be in the
23 year
top
old
four.
Rahul,
He
but
batted
he
in the
averaged
top four. He
around
has to be
20.
in the top four.
Sorry.
He batted in the top four. He has to be in the top four run
Yeah,
getters.
so you're telling he didn't contribute much, and then you're saying he's one of the top four scorers for India who won the
Yeah, so
tournament. So I
top
don't
four
think
is.
that makes
I'm
sense.
saying he contributing massively. Like, for example, now you look at this tournament. Okay, if you look at the top scorer for India, Sachin Tendulkar 482 runs. You have Dilshan 500 runs. Sangakkara is the third best 465. Virat Kohli comes in. I think in the 200s. Yeah, he scored 282 runs. So
Yeah, but
averaging.
you have to take the
So
context for India, like not about the tournament. We're talking about India batsmen, not the tournament batsmen. So you had guys like Sachin already scoring a lot of balls. Sehwag used to take a lot of balls. He used to not come in and play a lot of balls. And being only what
no, but
22,
that's
23 year
that
old.
that isn't true, right? Like at the end of the day, he's that's not true because he did get his fair opportunities to bat because he batted at four. It's not like he didn't bat and he didn't score. I can't sit and say
He
Virat
averaged
Kohli was one of the best
35.
batters at the World Cup. I don't think so. I think
A
he's a
two down
fantastic batter.
No, no,
batter
no.
I
But
don't
I'm
think he's
not
a
saying
great
best
batter.
batsman. You're
two
telling he
games.
didn't contribute much for the team. I look at 282 runs. They were important runs scored, helping your team win a World Cup. If you want to talk about that, I can say he scored more runs than Sachin Tendulkar in the World Cup final. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't
No,
make
but
sense.
the
My point
point is,
is,
Adi, if you're looking
he
at
was in.
comparing, you're saying compare it to the other Indian batters. Sachin Tendulkar had more runs, Gambhir had more runs,
Rahul,
Sehwag had more runs,
you have to
Yuvraj
take
Singh
in
had more runs.
context. Sachin used to play most of the power play. He
Okay,
used to play
Adi,
most.
Yuvraj Singh had more runs, so did Gambhir.
I'm not saying these guys were not better. My point is, I
Yeah.
can't sit and say he didn't contribute to the team, and that's the conversation
I'm
here.
not
You
saying,
said,
bro,
did he?
everyone contributes some form or the other, but I'm saying big contributions. If you look at any big tournament, now if I go back to 2011, and from a batting point of view, if I look at, okay, who won me that World Cup, or if you ask me as a fan, I would go to, for example, I would go to Yuvraj's knock against Australia in the quarterfinal. I would go to Gambhir's knock against Sri Lanka in the final. I would look at also Dhoni's knock in the final against Sri Lanka. Like these are knocks, I think, that eventually made us really took us to the trophy. And Sehwag throughout the entire tournament was brilliant at the top of the order. I can't really say Virat Kohli was amongst the best batters of that tournament. I don't think so. And he's the fifth highest run getter in India. So I think clearly he's not in the best of the tournament. That's what I mean. And when you go to the Champions Trophy, also in 2013 and India's success in the Champions Trophy, Shikhar Dhawan scored more runs than him. So did Rohit Sharma.
Wait,
And
wait, wait. Which are you telling the Champions Trophy? The
Yeah.
one where he was a top scorer in the final. You're telling that he didn't contribute anything for the team again.
No, but again,
Bro, clutch
that was a
moments,
shortened
only the
game.
big
It
players
was a
show up. I'm
shortened game where
sorry.
you needed the bowlers to win you that game.
Bro, he's the only one who scored runs for the team that day. If he didn't score
No,
any runs, the
again,
bowlers wouldn't have anything to.
I'm not saying he didn't
Bro, come on,
contribute.
dad.
I'm just trying to make a conversation,
He's
and I
not.
think
I think
there
the
may be a
point.
Bro, he's
conversation to be
Yeah,
had.
there's a difference in how big was an overall contribution and how big was the contribution in winning a game. Or winning a
bro.
final.
How big was what?
So would
He's
you
the
say
scored.
if someone has had a mediocre tournament
Bro,
throughout and
Rishi,
has
again, go
one
back to
good game,
2019 World Cup. Rohit Sharma was the highest scorer for India. Look at the semi-finals runs. He got ducked out. What matters is the biggest players only come when in the biggest occasions. You look at the T20 World Cup this year, the top scorer of India was Rohit Sharma in the finals, where it actually matters to win a trophy. He was nowhere to be seen. Who was the one who
Adi,
played that?
that's you can't say the final is everything. The rest of
Oh,
the tournament
bro, but
matters a
you
lot.
guys are trying to make an argument saying he didn't contribute enough. He's won you two finals already in an ICC tournament for India.
I'm talking about ODI. Let's stick to ODI cricket first of all.
Bro,
We're
but
not talking about
even
wait,
ODI,
I'll
I'm
just
not.
wait.
Yeah.
I'll
So
just
let's
give
not
some
talk about the T20s. We're talking about
Even in the
numbers.
Champions Trophy, he's the one who's the top scorer for India.
yeah,
Like, it
Adi
doesn't make
bhai,
sense.
he scored 43 runs. It was a shortened game. Like
Bro,
you needed the bowlers to win you this game. I'm sorry, but this is a
oh,
game
but
where you
are you
needed
saying
the
those
bowlers to
43
win you the
runs?
game.
Example, he got duck out. The conversation would be different. Now he scored 43 runs. You're like, yeah, bro, but Ashwin won us this thing. If he didn't score this valuable 43 runs where other batsmen couldn't outscore him, and those 43 runs
No, I'm
wouldn't have
not
been even
saying they weren't
in
important. I'm not saying
value.
they
You
weren't
should take
important,
into
but
that to context
I
though.
think
Like,
if
how
you
can you
look
not
at
take that into context?
I think if you look at overall contribution, even like just in general, if you just look at maximum contribution, okay, Virat Kohli, for example, why was he not man of the match in this game?
No, that is how the game state was. At the end of the
Oh,
day,
okay.
people are going to
Why do
take.
you think?
Wait, 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 wait.
Why do you think it wasn't?
Your
Why do you
point
think?
was again, where was the other batsman in the same game? Can you tell me that?
Adi, do you
Who
realize
was,
that
wait,
that
wait, my
argument
point
can be
is,
applied? That
your
argument can be
argument is
applied for
Virat's not.
anyone.
If wait, let me
If he won
finish. Wait,
if
wait.
he won the game by like 2 runs, we can say any batsman who scored 3 or more runs, we can say, oh, if those 3 runs were not scored, the game state would have been different. It's exactly saying that. But the
So,
point
are
is,
you telling scoring 3 runs versus scoring 43 runs is the same thing?
no,
Are
it's
you
not
trying
the
to
same
compare
thing.
this? Exactly
But
what you're trying to
there's a
compare.
difference in
That's
scoring
what you're trying to
43
compare.
runs and being average for the rest of the tournament and doing well consistently throughout the tournament. There's a
No, he
difference. You
was
can't say
not
the same thing.
average throughout the tournament. In the semi-finals, he was again scoring 58. And he was the one who scored runs for the team. In the finals, he's scoring runs for the team. Is that called average? Like suddenly that's an average tournament for you? Like I don't think it makes sense.
Okay,
He,
Adi,
he had he
okay,
had
Adi.
3 innings against Pakistan. He was not out. He couldn't
Okay,
obviously
do you
finish the
think
game.
Virat Kohli was the best batter for India at the Champions Trophy?
Bro, at the end of the day, are you telling if your best
No,
batsman
just
has
ask me
not
yes or
played?
no. It's a yes or no
Bro,
question.
I'm sorry. First of all, I didn't watch the entire tournament. I can't remember. But I remember the finals clearly. And I remember who showed up in the batting lineup. Can you guys tell me in the finals where it actually matters who showed up? Like, can you guys
So,
tell me who?
Adi, you're saying if you don't show up for a final, then it's redundant, like what you do for the rest of the
To an
tournament.
extent, yes, Rahul, because it's like
Okay,
saying,
so then
like,
that means Virat Kohli did not, it doesn't matter what he did for throughout the 2011 World Cup because he didn't show up in the final, it doesn't matter.
Thing
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
2023
No,
World
you're
Cup
I'm
final.
saying in
you
context
just
with
said
Indian
yes.
batsmen. My point is in context with Indian batsmen. You guys are
Here
trying to
also,
come up.
the context is Indian batsmen only. Here
Let
also,
me
the
finish.
context
No,
is the
you
same.
guys are trying to debunk that Virat's not the best and someone else is the best. Now put forth the players who you think are better than
No,
him because he scored.
I think Virat is the best ODI batter in the
No,
world.
but you're giving me bullshit arguments. You're saying something like he didn't score enough in one tournament. You're saying that's the reason he's not the best. The argument
I'm
here is
trying to make conversation. I'm just trying to say that it is a potential argument against him. For me, Virat Kohli is the best ODI batter in the world that I have seen, and I don't
okay.
think there is anyone
Okay,
better.
but
So
your
why? Yeah.
argument is again, Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan had a decent tournament in one tournament ever. In the same tournament, in the finals, Rohit Sharma couldn't score runs. Shikhar Dhawan, I think, was the
Bro,
third
how
highest
can you
scorer.
say they had a decent tournament when Shikhar Dhawan has scored 363 runs, which is double the number of runs Virat Kohli has scored, more than double
Bro,
the
but
number
Rahul, you
that
realize
Virat Kohli has
Virat
scored.
Kohli's 3 innings, the 3 innings he played against Pakistan, Sri Lanka, he was not out. He never really got a chance to finish his innings. So, are you putting that context and saying he's the worst batsman? Can you actually add context to the each innings?
When did I ever say he's the worst?
But you're saying someone had
What are
better,
you
bro. Obviously,
saying?
the openers will have a better opportunity to score more runs than a number
They
three,
will,
number
but
four.
it doesn't happen
That
that
is
only
literally
the
the logic.
openers. It's no, it does never happen that the openers only score runs. Sangakkara has scored 200
Ricky
plus runs.
Ponting
He didn't
has
open the
Oh
great
my
batting.
like
God, bro! Are you
Australia.
telling Sangakkara scored more runs? His openers weren't scoring in the same rate as Rohit Sharma and Shikhar Dhawan was. Can you put that into context? Look at the innings, bro. First game he scored 31 runs. Second game, okay. Obviously, you have some games you don't play well, 21 runs. The next two games, he was not out in the next two games. Finals, he was the top scorer of the team. Now you add that context. What can I fault
I'm not
Virat not?
saying. I am literally not saying
Come
he's
on,
not
that's what
had a
you.
good
The
tournament.
argument is
I
he's
think.
not
I
the
think.
top
See, I
scorer.
think he has had a better tournament, better Champions Trophy than he did in the World Cup, the 2011 World Cup. I think he did play an important role.
Bro, he
All
scored a
I'm trying to
century in
say
the World
is.
Cup.
All I'm trying
He
to say
scored a half
is.
century in the World Cup.
Huh?
I don't think he scored century playing number four. He
But
scored
you
an half
just
century.
told me that if you don't show up in the final, it doesn't matter.
But again, Rahul, he scored more runs than guys like
You
Sehwag and
literally just
Sachin.
one
How
second
are
you
you
stick to one
jumping? No,
thing.
no,
How
you
can
have to.
you
You
do
can't
whatever you
place your
want, say
feet on
whatever you
both
want
the
whenever
books.
you
You have
want?
to stick to one.
Yeah,
You can't
stick to
say
one thing.
Brother, your logic was again. Your logic. You just told me that he didn't play well in the finals. He had decent runs in the finals, and again, my whole point is you have to put in context. Like my whole point is in the World Cup, he was pretty good for what he played at a young age of 22, coming into the team, playing your first ever World Cup. I think he was a utility player. He played a lot of good innings against West Indies. He scored a half century. He scored a century against Bangladesh in his debut, which mattered because scoring a century, it mattered that it helped that team win that game. Like without a century, I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't
Brother,
have won
like
the game
that,
in the same way.
every game
no.
matters.
I can
Every
make a
game
case for
matters.
Bro, but
everyone.
you
I
guys are putting the
can
context
make
that
a
he
case for
hasn't
Sehwag. I
contributed
can make a
enough
case
in
for
World
Sachin
Cups
Tendulkar. I
and
can make a
Champions
case for Gautam
Trophies.
He's
Gambhir.
literally the fifth highest scorer in the Indian team, and he bats at number four.
Rahul, but who were the other four guys who were better than him? The openers, that it was the
The
openers,
openers,
the
there is a
number
Yuvraj
three.
Singh who bats below him.
No, but we have to take Yuvraj out. He was the best
Why?
player of the.
Oh,
He was the wait.
No, 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 no. Once again, once again.
Bro,
So the batsman
you
above
guys
him
are trying to be
missed
dumb. Like I
balls.
legit
The
can't
batsman
explain.
below
this
him,
is
we have
insane.
to take him
How
out
can you
because he was
say
the man
he
of the
doesn't
tournament.
bat
Bro,
well?
Rishi, he was the best player in the tournament. So you have to put in that context again. Your whole argument is he didn't contribute enough. Are you saying scoring centuries, scoring in what out of 9 innings, he had 4 innings where he scored about 30 runs. He had one half century, 1 century. Are you saying that's not enough
Because
contribution
it
for
was
a
see,
young
Dude,
player
it
who's
was
come
not
in for
it
the
was
first
not the
time?
best.
nobody said
Bro,
he's
tell
not
me, compare
contributed.
the other number
Okay,
fours in that year. Tell me how much
nobody's
they
saying he
scored.
hasn't. I'm talking about the Indian team first of all, and nobody's saying he's not
But
contributed. Second of
you
all,
guys
Also
are
the
telling a
second of all,
conversation
you're the
2011
one who
World
not
said
Cup.
you're the
also the
one who said if you
conversation
don't
is
show up
not
in the
who is the
final,
best number four in ODIs. It's like who is the best ODI batsman of all
Bro, if
time.
you're
There's a
playing a certain role, you have to play that well. Now we are comparing a number four who's played his first ever World Cup, debuting for India very recently. You're comparing that versus Sachin Tendulkar, Sehwag, Gambhir, who played enough cricket for the India. They're coming in 1, 2, 3 position. They're playing more number of balls. They're playing power plays. You have to put in that context.
okay,
Averaging
that's
35,
okay.
okay, that's
wait,
okay.
I'm gonna
averaging
give some numbers.
35,
That's okay.
I'm gonna give
averaging
some numbers
35
to
in
put
a
that
World
more
Cup
context.
proves that you played well in that World Cup.
Okay.
And it's your first World Cup. You've not even started your career. You're literally just starting your career. That is exceptional for another one. And a player like him. Tell me another 20-year, 22-year, 23-year-old who did that season. I didn't see anyone. My point is he contributed enough in his role. I can't tell it to anything else. Like, did Raina score more runs than him? No, he had more experience. Can
Raina
you tell
didn't
me
even
why?
play
Okay,
every
so
game.
can you tell me why Dhoni didn't score enough runs? Like, why is Dhoni not
That's because
outscoring?
he batted at number six.
Exactly. My point is at the role he played pretty good. Only point for me is Yuvraj had an incredible run that year. No one can be compared to him, right? Like it doesn't make sense. Like for me, if you're the best top player in the tournament, it just doesn't make
Dude,
sense to compare it to
I'm
him.
not saying, I'm not denying the fact that he's contributed. And when you obviously
You
when you're
literally
looking
started
at
off by saying he didn't have great World
Okay,
Cup. He's not
guys,
contributed enough.
I'm
For
gonna give
me, that
some
was great. If any
numbers.
other 22-year-old did that, everybody would encourage him and say, "Wow, that's a great
fair enough,
tournament for you."
okay, that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
should
So
say.
hear
That
me out. I'm gonna give
this is what I was looking
Rahul
for.
1 second. Hold on.
No,
I'm
that's
gonna
okay.
give some numbers to give things a little bit more context. So fair enough. First World Cup, utility player, number four batter. Others had more balls. Others had better overall tournaments. Fair enough. His second World Cup, he was not in the top 10 run scorers in the tournament. India, he was not even the highest Indian batter. I mean, Indian
Oh,
run
you
scorer.
want to do this game, Rishi? I can talk about 2023 World Cup. Like,
Let me please complete. So, and then we fast forward to the third World Cup. Again, he's not in the top 10 run scorers of the tournament. He's not the top scorer of India. His fourth World Cup at home, he scores. He's the top scorer of the team and the tournament. Now, to put
Bro,
things
he
into
averaged
context,
95 in that
once
tournament.
again, put
95.
things. Let's put things into context. A 23-year-old, sorry, a 22-year-old Sachin Tendulkar, a 22-year-old, by the way, a kid, 1995-96 World Cup was the top scorer of the tournament. Okay, now 2003 World Cup, top scorer of the tournament again. Okay, 2011 World Cup, top scorer of the nation. So now, how are you saying a batsman who has been
Actually
top
fair.
scorer of the tournament at an age of 22, fast forward to the next World Cup, has been the top scorer of the tournament? In a World Cup winning tournament, he was the top scorer of the nation. How are you putting a case that this is not the greatest ODI batter of all time?
Because he just trumped him with higher number of centuries, Rishi. Look at the numbers again. It speaks to himself,
Okay,
bro.
so that
258
Okay,
by
so for you, so
283
that means for
innings. You
you,
scored
higher
50.
number of hundreds trumps anything else.
Bro, don't you think if you want to
Yes
talk
or no,
about the
Adi?
best, yes, and
Okay, that's
you have to put in context. If
okay.
anyone scores 50 centuries in 170 games lesser, you have almost the same number of half centuries. Sachin Tendulkar averaged only 44 compared to averaging 58, having a strike rate of 90. Don't I'm putting in context of
See, there
everything.
is
I'm
a
not
lot,
only
Adi,
putting
there's a lot more
three.
context to this. Of course, there is the two ball context. The context of
the
bowling
field restrictions, the
was
number
much
of
harder
fielders,
back in the day when you had the chance to
Bro,
reverse the ball.
but Sachin also
It,
played in a good amount of innings in the Virat
that's
Kohli era
not
also.
true.
Like,
That's not true
yes,
for
he
the
played for like good six to
Adi
seven
for
years, Rahul.
no. Yes, but his
there's a
entire
difference in
career he
playing.
played with one ball when the
Yeah,
ball used to reverse. He
Yeah,
where
but
the rule
he
change
still
came
played.
after
He
the
still
rule
played
change
from
came towards the end of
2008,
his career.
but he still played from 2008 and yada yada yada. And again, we said like for me, my
He
context
played
is
for
what I've
3 years
seen.
of ODI after that. That's
Rahul, but I was not sitting and watching at 1999 World Cup. I was not even born that time. What can I do? Like
I
I'm
am
saying what I've
agreeing,
seen.
bro. I'm just asking you. That's
I'm
it.
putting the context of what I
So
can
for me,
see.
I am literally saying I also agree. I think Virat Kohli is the best batsman because I have not seen Sachin enough.
Yeah, have you guys seen that World Cup
I
knock?
have
Rishi just
not.
said he
I
was a top
agree.
I
scorer.
I
watched
Like,
I
agree.
watched the
But am I
2011 World
going to
Cup.
say
Now, I'm
what?
not saying I sat and watched the highlight reel from the 1996.
yeah.
I was
So
just
how can
giving
you put
context.
how
I
now
was
you're telling
giving
me how?
numbers
But you're
because
telling
you
me
were
how can
saying
you put
if any
Rishi?
other
But you're
player
telling
was
me.
given, if
But you're
you
telling me
said
how
if
can I
any
put a
other player
case
was
for?
given like XYZ player, if he had a good tournament, I mean, and had these numbers at the age of 22, would be considered a very good tournament. So I just gave you numbers saying another
But Rishi,
22-year-old
haven't
player
seen
went
the
on to
tournament.
become
I
the
never
world champion
watched that
instead of
World
top
Cup.
scorer of the
I
tournament.
never watched that World Cup. Have you ever watched that World Cup? I don't think we have watched.
No,
Now,
but
why
that's
are
not the
you?
point.
Wait,
Adi
but
is trying.
wait, let me finish. Like, why will I answer to you saying this is a great World Cup when I've never seen it? He can be a top scorer. Like that, you go back. A lot of guys have been top scorers in their World Cups, but can I say that's the best World Cup? I've never seen it.
No, but at the
And
end of the
No,
day, it is a
the
22-year-old
point
making
I'm
an
trying to
impact.
make is you're adding in filters and getting a condition where Virat Kohli looks like he's the better batter. And then suddenly, when I satisfy your condition and give you a same category player, you're like, no, now this category doesn't work. Because then you have to
when
add a
did
little
I say
bit of
that?
context. Like
I
the
never
goalpost is
said that,
always
Rishi.
moving.
My point is, I said I've never seen it. So how will I answer? When did I say it doesn't work? Did I say it doesn't work when he's the youngest top scorer at 20? No, I said I've never seen it. Did you watch the 1996 World Cup, 1999 World Cup, 2003 World Cup? I don't think we watched it. What can I add context? I've
No,
seen all
but
the World Cups from 2011. Again, 2023 World Cup, I saw who was the best batsman there. Even in the final, I saw who showed up that day. Like only your best player showed up. Like I can't sit and say that for everyone else.
no,
If
that's
you want to
true,
talk about
India.
finals, talk about Sachin Tendulkar's finals runs. Like how many runs has he scored in a final? I don't think he scored enough runs in a final.
He
Three
has
times he's played the
the
finals, he's not
India
scored
versus
enough
Australia
runs. Like that also
2003 World
matter.
Cup. Adi, he's the only guy
Huh?
who scored runs.
But Rahul again in the final, nobody's
That was
like
the
again.
final.
You have to,
There is a
which
final.
That was the final.
which one?
2003 India Australia, the one that
Yeah,
we.
go to
Yeah.
2011 World Cup final.
Why?
You
Why you
can't
want a
choose your
final?
World
We're
Cup
giving you a
finals like
final.
that,
Now
Adi.
why
You
are we
can't
shifting
just
the
say I
World Cup?
want
Why
this
are
World
we
Cup
shifting the
Bro,
final.
my
final?
point is, I can tell. My whole point is, I can tell that this guy scored enough runs in the final. Also, I can't say the same for Sachin in
Also, India's top
2011.
scorer in the 2023 World Cup final was KL Rahul, by the way, not Virat Kohli.
Rishi, are you insane? It was KS Rahul innings you saw. Facing 120 balls, anyone can score that much runs, my friend. Like it doesn't matter. You have to add in the number of balls you face.
Okay,
You
okay.
can't just say
So
120
you have
balls,
to
you
face
scored
100.
No,
55
Okay,
this
okay,
runs.
is
okay.
insane,
Got it.
Adi. Like that is
Got
too
it.
unfair. You're saying the
No, no.
context of
Once
the game
again,
should not apply to
Rahul,
KL
Rahul, like
Rahul,
five
but
minutes ago,
everyone
the
else.
condition was that he doesn't like Virat Kohli didn't get to face enough balls. Now that someone is low down the order is getting to face enough balls, now that is
So
a disadvantage.
Rishi, are you saying if you have a innings of 55 of 60 balls versus 66 of 107 balls, who do you think is better? You will give me that idea. You
My
tell me.
point is,
No, no, no. Wait, you tell me just with this context, who do you think had a better innings? You tell me.
no, I'm giving you
No,
the
tell
answer.
me just answer.
My point is, you can't say that okay, the real player showed up when there were other players also who showed up. It's not like Virat Kohli
Bro,
was a lone
but in
ranger
the
who showed up that day.
but my point again, giving you these two numbers, who do you think had a better innings? You give me that answer, right?
It's
It's
not.
simple.
I think personally, KL Rahul played a very important role in that
He
innings.
hung in there
Given the
longer.
state of the game,
I'm
given the
asking a
state of the
simple
game,
innings. Which one is
yeah.
the better innings? You
For
guys
me, it
can
was
answer.
actually KL Rahul because when KL
Okay.
Rahul got out,
A
for
KL
me,
Rahul
when KL
knock, which
Rahul got out,
ended up
when
losing India, is a
no,
better
no, but
innings. Interesting.
you're not letting me finish. When KL Rahul got out, the game sort of slipped away, but that didn't happen when
Bro,
Kohli got out.
he put the pressure to make other players not play well. Like, it's simple.
What?
If you're scoring 66 of 107 balls,
Dude, he
Rahul,
came
this is
in
not
at
a test
number
match.
five. We've lost
Tell me
three wickets
anyone,
by the time
bro,
he's come in.
tell me anyone who
There's
scored
already pressure on
66,
him.
Rahul, 66 of 107 balls. Are you guys telling that was a World Cup winning knock?
Bro,
When
there
you
is
have the opportunity,
no, it was not a
bro, when
World
you
Cup
have the
winning knock.
opportunity,
That was not
bro,
what he demanded.
It
India were
was a
3 for
back against the
81.
wall innings. If
India
there
were
was
3
ever
for
one, there was a
81.
back against the wall innings.
India were 3 for
yeah,
81.
Rishi, you're
When
a batsman. You're there to score runs. If you're defending the ball and making a team get more pressure, I don't think that's just a champion's knock. If Virat Kohli had the
oh
same
my
knock,
god.
you guys
Okay,
wouldn't put
one
this
second.
name.
I'm
I
giving
know
you a
for a
little
fact.
more
Like, I just know
context.
for a
Correct.
fact.
So at
I'm
one,
just going to give you a little more context about KL Rahul, okay? When KL Rahul got out, he was batting with the last recognized batter, which means he doesn't have an option. He has to bat level.
Rahul, when he got
Yes,
out, before
he
that he
got
still
out.
had
He was
Jadeja
the
and Sky.
sixth wicket to fall. By then, the top five had gone. Everyone but him. He was basically the
So are
last
you saying
recognized
that
batter.
is enough for him not to score runs? Like, your idea is because you're playing with the back end, you're not allowed to score runs. That's your
Pratik,
idea.
it's the World Cup
As a
final. If he
batsman, are
goes,
you
the game
saying
is done. If he goes, the game is over.
Rahul, you can still
That's
rotate
exactly what happened.
singles, you can score runs. My point is, you can't come and tell me this knock is a World Cup winning knock. I'm
so how
sorry.
come
Nobody's
If
Virat
saying
you
didn't
it's
put,
a World
score
Cup winning
the
knock. Nobody's
66?
saying it's a World Cup winning knock.
How come
I
Virat
would
got
still value
148?
55 of 60 balls. Like, that's my point.
So you're saying you don't value KL 66 of 107?
I think it was a net negative innings. That's my
Okay,
opinion.
fine, fine. So for me, I value both the innings because that's what the match demanded. And for me, the way the
A
game was going,
match,
I thought
at the
Yeah,
end of the day, you have to
that
score
no,
runs also in that thing. You
the
can't
game
just
is
eat balls without
when
scoring
Virat fell,
runs.
it was 148 for
okay.
4 and 28.3. When Jadeja fell, it was 178 for 5 at 35 overs.
Bro,
So okay,
no
fine, we
one's
needed
asking you to
to
defend. You can
correct.
score runs. There's two
Okay,
different things. It's
anyways,
not a test
going
match
off
where you
topic.
have limited number of like unlimited number of overs to score like how many runs you want. You have 50 overs. You have to understand how to pace an innings. Are you telling any other player who played 66 of 107 balls would be fine? I'm sure if Virat Kohli had the same
Yeah,
innings, you guys wouldn't
Okay,
put it
anyways,
six
we're
the
going.
wickets
same
are
thing.
This
down,
is way
yes.
off topic. It was way off. We're going a little bit off topic. But quickly to sum up, like, see, for me, I just think Virat for me is the best ODI batter because I've seen most of his ODI innings, and I don't think anybody comes close to his numbers at all. And again, like for me, like the only argument that I would see from the other side, again, this is just me personally, that maybe the contribution in ICC winning like occasions for India, it hasn't come. He hasn't been the sort of mainstay player. Like he's not been like the Yuvraj Singh who drove India home. Like that's the only thing I can say about it. But otherwise, I think he's been a champion player. But if I probably got to see Sachin Tendulkar or any of those legends, maybe I would have had another like opinion. But I don't at the moment. I think for me it is Virat Kohli. And yeah, we'll just wrap it up with that. Rishi, I think threw in like the interesting obviously option of Tendulkar. If there's anybody who's older watching, if you guys have a different opinion or you think there is a better ODI player of all time other than Virat Kohli, please let us know. But yeah, we'll yeah, just wrap it up for now. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a fun conversation actually. Like and share the video, subscribe to Sports Kabri. We'll see you soon. Bye bye.